Next on the news, a sea of blue. Thousands line the streets and fill St. Patrick's Cathedral in memory of Officer Wilbert Mora.
Te amamos siempre, Wilbert. I love you.
I love you, baby bro. And I will always miss you.
Heartbroken family and friends remember the fallen hero. Then, historically black colleges are on alert as a rash of bomb threats disrupts campuses across the country. Plus, more troops are heading to Europe in an effort to stave off the escalating tensions in Ukraine. Putin accusing the U.S. of trying to push Russia into a war. And aromatherapy bracelets for cancer patients. A Catholic mom of 2 is helping fight the side effects of treatment with winning results. I'm Christine Persichetti. Currents News starts right now. A final salute, the city coming together for a second time in less than a week to honor a fallen hero gone too soon. It was another heart-wrenching day for family, friends, and fellow officers as one of New York's finest was laid to rest. 27-year-old Officer Wilbert Mora was posthumously promoted to Detective First Grade during a somber ceremony at St. Patrick's Cathedral. Currents News' Jessica Easthope has more on the moving tribute.
Once again, an ocean of NYPD filled the streets of Midtown, seemingly repeating the worst day of any police officer's career, the loss of a fellow member of service. Wilbert Mora hailed a hero in life and in death, spending his last moments protecting other officers and donating his organs to save the lives of 5 strangers. Mayor Eric Adams said New York City will not bow down to the violence that took him.
We will work to end the gun violence that has engulfed our city with pain and despair, and protect those who put their lives on the line every day.
Mora's funeral comes less than a week after his partner, Jason Rivera's. Their final salutes serving as a reminder of the immense bravery they showed in their short lives and even shorter careers. But Mora's last honor was one he worked toward every day. Police Commissioner Keishant Sewell posthumously promoted him to Detective First Grade.
This execution touches the heart of a nation and tests the faith of this city.
Detective Mora's sister, cousin, and brother said their last goodbyes Wednesday. His brother described him just as his police family did, a gentle giant and a loyal friend.
Your love for life was infectious. People gravitated to you because they could lower their defenses and be themselves around you.
Mora donated 5 organs through Live On New York to people whose lives needed to be saved. Now Diocese of Brooklyn Bishop Robert Brennan says his love for life will live on through them, and that his sacrifice will forever be the light through the darkness.
Detective Mora was completely dedicated to the work that he did on the police department, but he connected that to his love of life, his love for other people.
Detective Mora will be buried in Woodside, Queens. Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
Officer Mora's sister gave a touching and heartfelt eulogy during the Mass, thanking God for having her brother for 27 years. At the same time, Karina Mora spoke out against the system, asking how many more people who are trying to protect New Yorkers need to be lost to violence.
Duele saber que 2 jóvenes ejemplares, como el oficial Jason Rivera y Wilbert Mora, nos fueron arrebatados a destiempo. 2 jóvenes que quisieron hacer la diferencia y un cambio en su ciudad con su servicio y su entrega. Ahora solo me pregunto, ¿cuántos Wilbert, cuántos Jason, cuántos oficiales más deberán perder sus vidas para que este sistema cambie?
Karina said she constantly feared for her brother's safety while growing up in the Big Apple and later when he joined the NYPD. And as we heard from Jessica, Officer Mora's brother also remembered the fallen cop during the funeral mass. Wilson Mora giving his eulogy directly to his brother.
I just want you to know that I was always proud of you. You chose a life of service to your community and to our adopted country. Your fellow officers were not only co-workers, they were friends and family, and now they're my family. I love you, baby bro, and I will always miss you.
Just as Bishop Brennan remembered Officer Mora's life-giving sacrifice, Police Benevolent Association President Pat Lynch also praised Mora's family for not only raising the brave and loyal cop, but for making the life-saving decision to donate Officer Mora's organs.
Your son is a true American hero, but more importantly than that, you are a true American hero family. And every police officer from around the world that packs this cathedral and line that street and will leave our city and go to their towns will go with faith that if I can do half of what he did in his short life, we will have led a strong life.
You can watch Officer Mora's funeral mass in its entirety online. Go to currentsny.tv, or you can find Currents News on Facebook and YouTube. The officers who worked with Detective Mora day in and day out, leaning on each other to get through this huge loss, sharing their memories of their brother in blue.
Look who I found in the academy.
27-year-old Wilbert Mora, who entered the police academy in 2018, is remembered for always smiling.
Your smile lit up a room. Your smile, your laugh changed everyone's mood.
But the mood at the 32nd Precinct has been a somber one since January 21st, when Mora and his 22-year-old partner, now Detective Jason Rivera, were ambushed while responding to that domestic disturbance in Harlem.
I'm sorry I wasn't there for you that night.
Mora's colleagues at the 32 describe him as a big teddy bear, kind, a goofball, and life of the party who was always joking after roll call.
To know that there's not going to be another roll call, and to know that we're not going to get that again, it hurts.
He was a man who took care of his elderly parents and a hero even in death. Mora was an organ donor who will live on through the 5 people he saved with his heart, liver, 2 kidneys, and pancreas. Bishop Robert Brennan talked about the family's decision to donate Mora's organs.
They made decisions knowing who he was, how he lived his life, and how he served in the New York City Police Department, his goodness, his generosity. And so they made it possible for him to continue that even in his last days, even when you thought he had already given it all.
Detective Rivera's widow attended Mora's funeral mass a day after mentioning him on Instagram, saying, "Although I never met you, thank you for always being eager to work with my angel, regardless of him being a rookie. Take care of us." Ahead of Detective Mora's funeral, officers' family and friends wrote their fond farewells to the fallen cop on the back of a painting. The memorial art, done by Kenny Altador, a painter who has been honoring fallen heroes for more than a decade. His most recent work was a tribute to Mora's partner, Detective Rivera. On the back of the painting, you could see messages calling Mora a gentle giant and a true American hero. In the nation's capital, the Biden administration is walking back rhetoric over Russia's aggression towards Ukraine, saying the threat is no longer imminent. This as President Biden has approved the deployment of additional troops to Europe in an effort to shore up NATO defenses. Karen Kafa is in Washington with the latest.
Amid rising tensions between Russia and the West, President Joe Biden formally approving the deployment of 3,000 U.S. troops to Eastern Europe in the coming days.
This force is designed to deter aggression and enhance our defensive capabilities in frontline allied states.
The additional forces are separate from the 8,500 U.S. personnel placed on heightened alert last week and include 1,000 troops currently based in Germany, repositioning to Romania, with another 2,000 troops deploying to Poland and Germany from the U.S.
These are not permanent moves. They are moves designed to respond to the current security environment. Moreover, these forces are not going to fight in Ukraine. They are going to ensure the robust defense of our NATO allies.
The decision comes as diplomatic talks with Moscow are proving ineffective, with Russia continuing to build up forces along the Ukrainian border and issuing security demands to NATO allies.
It's important that we send a strong signal to Mr. Putin and, frankly, to the world that NATO matters to the United States.
Ukraine's foreign minister expressing appreciation for the added support Wednesday and warning of what he believes are Russia's motivations.
Russia aims to shatter the long-established order in Europe and Euro-Atlantic area, undermine its core principles, and destroy the post-Cold War security architecture.
The Pentagon says the U.S. is planning for all contingencies, with more troop deployments still a possibility. In Washington, Karen Kafa, Currents News.
The ongoing war of words between the U.S. and Russia has led to some odd analogies in the White House briefing room, where Press Secretary Jen Psaki likened the situation between Putin and Ukraine to a fox in a henhouse.
When the fox is screaming from the top of the henhouse that he's scared of the chickens, which is essentially what they're doing, that fear isn't reported as a statement of fact. And as you watch President Putin screaming about the fear of Ukraine and the Ukrainians, that should not be reported as a statement of fact. We know who the fox is in this case.
Russia's press secretary responded to the metaphor, saying that Russia is traditionally compared to a bear, not a fox, and would therefore be too big and heavy to climb a henhouse. On a more serious note, the White House is coordinating with federal investigators looking into a series of bomb threats made at several historically black colleges and universities. At least 6 threats were uncovered on Monday alone, disrupting campus operations and launching police investigations. Joe Johns reports.
Investigators believe that numerous threats throughout the area and throughout the nation were coming in targeting several historically black colleges and universities.
Tonight, the nation's historically black colleges and universities are on alert. From Louisiana to Georgia to Maryland to Delaware, at least 18 HBCUs have had class disruptions in the past 2 days due to bomb threats. No explosives have been found.
It's most unsettling for the students to have to address this. So the emotional, mental health and well-being of our students is of concern.
The barrage of threats and the campus disruption they caused garnering national attention, including from the White House.
We are working in close coordination with our law enforcement authorities and ensuring that the leaders of these institutions and the students know that we are watching closely and that we are standing with them as they face these threats.
State and local law enforcement approaching the problem on a case-by-case basis. Spelman College and Atlanta will increase their patrols around campus. This wave of bomb threats, the latest in a string that began in early January. The FBI announcing investigations are ongoing with other law enforcement agencies, including the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. Lawmakers also taking the threat seriously, with the House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff and Counterterrorism Subcommittee Chairman Congressman Andre Carson releasing a joint statement saying, "We will remain focused on ensuring that all appropriate resources are utilized to combat the scourge of white supremacist violence and terrorism."
That was Joe Johns reporting. So far, the motive for the threats is unknown, but 6 people have been identified as persons of interest by the FBI, according to news reports. There's a lot more news headed your way. A weather threat for much of the United States. Snow and ice on the way. We'll tell you where and when. Plus, New York City getting ready for a presidential visit. Gun violence set to be the big topic. We'll hear from the mayor coming up. And the path this Brooklyn business owner took to help people fighting cancer. We will have her incredible story. Across the nation, more than 100 million people are facing winter weather alerts. This as massive snow and ice storms threaten to paralyze parts of the Midwest and the South. As Daryl Forges reports, the effects of the hard freeze could linger well into the weekend.
Make no mistake about it, this is a major winter storm that we'll be dealing with for the next 2 days.
Major cities preparing for another massive winter storm. In Ohio, crews are still digging out from the last round.
Hopefully it'll make it before everything starts freezing by getting the snow out of the way.
Forecasters predict up to 15 to 20 inches of snow walloping parts of the Midwest. But the main threat with this system, ice.
People can navigate on roads that are hard packed because they still have traction. But with the ice, it's hard to get traction.
Prompting a warning from the mayor of Indianapolis.
Starting Wednesday evening at the latest, drivers should stay off the roads.
With impacts expected to linger into the weekend, several governors have declared states of emergency.
After last year, I think us all Texans are kind of scared.
Further south, Governor Greg Abbott is assuring Texans the state's power grid is better prepared than last year, when an ice storm led to widespread power outages and left thousands freezing for weeks.
I'm a little skeptical. I'm hoping that everything works out good, but it's always good to be prepared.
In Detroit, Michigan, Daryl Forges, Currents News.
Back to our top story. On the heels of the deaths of Officers Mora and Rivera, Joe Biden and Eric Adams are meeting on Thursday. The two plan to discuss the president's strategy to curb gun violence around the country. At Officer Mora's funeral, Mayor Adams again said he will do all he can to fight the growing gun violence happening now in New York City.
It is New Yorkers against the killers, and we will not lose.
Reports are that the president will tour NYPD headquarters, but the mayor has not elaborated on the details of the agenda. City police officers found themselves rushing to the hospital once again for an officer who was shot. It happened on Tuesday night in Queens. Police say a 22-year-old rookie cop was driving to work when he stopped at a light and two gunmen tried to carjack him. They exchanged fire and the cop was shot in the shoulder. The two suspects ran away but were caught and arrested. Turning now to some good news. In the fight against COVID, you may soon have a vaccine for your youngest children. Pfizer is looking for FDA authorization for its vaccine for children under 5. The FDA actually urged the company to apply earlier than it had planned. Pfizer is still trying to figure out if the children will need 2 or 3 shots. The dosage is 1/10 given to adults. Some older kids are fessing up, admitting that they cheated during remote learning. And these kids go to one of the city's most elite public schools, Stuyvesant High School. Students told the school's newspaper that cheating was rampant during remote learning because it was easy to do it. 79% of 2021 graduates said they cheated at least once. Turning now to the inspiring story of a Catholic mom of 2 who started a business designed to help the community of people affected by cancer. And now Chrissy Canny is getting a firsthand look at just how uplifting that community can be. Currents News' Jessica Easthope has her story from Staten Island.
Chrissy Canny creates jewelry that helps people overcome obstacles. Her aromatherapy bracelets can be for the overworked, busy moms, or anyone who needs to just chill out.
We put inspiring words on our bracelets. Just having that little inspiration on your wrist and know that you got it, that you can do anything once you believe in yourself.
But her company, Vented in Brooklyn, was founded with a much bigger obstacle in mind.
With peppermint essential oil. It comes out through the front vents. It helps with nausea.
Chemotherapy for people battling cancer.
It's all in honor of my dad, who I lost to cancer 18 years ago, and I've seen so many people I know affected by cancer, and I just wanted to bring a little joy to their lives.
For every bracelet purchased, one is donated to a patient. Recently, Chrissy appeared on America's Big Deal. Millions watched her sell $12,000 worth of jewelry in just 30 minutes on a national stage.
It was a big adrenaline rush. I'm like, I am doing this and I'm gonna rock it.
But the highest of highs was met with the lowest of lows. Just days after the best day of her professional career, one of the worst days of her personal life. Chrissy was diagnosed with breast cancer. And quickly, the fight she's helped thousands through became her own.
Going back and forth all these years of, I have dense breasts, Chrissy, you need an MRI, or Chrissy, you need this. I just decided that I did not want to have a lumpectomy. I did not want to go for radiation.
Now the Catholic mom of 2 has decided to undergo surgery, a double mastectomy, giving her the greatest chance of overcoming. Once she recovers, Chrissy will get back to work, ever evolving her business that at its core helps others.
This is something as women we have to be outspoken about. God puts you on a path for a reason, and that's what I believed with this journey, that I'm here to help other women.
Her jewelry reminds people they're strong, brave, warriors. What started as words of encouragement have become her own affirmations. On Staten Island, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
Chrissy is recovering from surgery, and we want to wish her a speedy recovery. You can purchase and donate aromatherapy bracelets on Chrissy's website at ventedinbrooklyn.com. Still to come on Currents News, it's a heartfelt thank you to those who serve. Students in the Diocese of Brooklyn send Valentines cards to veterans. And robbers with guns caught on camera, how a canine hero saved the life of a store clerk. Showing their appreciation to those who serve, Catholic students in the Diocese of Brooklyn are thanking the nation's vets with their annual Valentines for Veterans event. For more than 8 years, the students at St. Gregory the Great Catholic Academy have been writing heartfelt Valentines cards to send to a local VA hospital. And this year, in addition to that, some of the students are also sending cards to an Army troop in Japan, where their teacher's loved one is stationed. All right, whose side are you on, Team Chuck or Team Phil? The two furry forecasters offered dueling predictions for what the weather has in store. In Pennsylvania, Punxsutawney Phil ascended from a tree stump and placed his bet on 6 more weeks of winter. But New York's Staten Island Chuck disagrees. The rival rodent prognosticator did not see its shadow and is calling for an early spring. Definitely with Staten Island Chuck. And now to another furry friend, a hero dog. Employees at a Philadelphia corner store saying they're lucky to be alive after 2 armed robbers raided their shop. It was all caught on camera, and as Matt Petrillo reports, the hero of this story is a dog aptly named Bullet.
Security video shows the moments 2 would-be robbers rush into Big A corner store on Torresdale Avenue in the city's Wissinoming section early Tuesday morning.
2 people come on with a big gun and a small gun. They come into the straight up to all the way here with the gun in the girl head and my head. They say, like, don't move.
The store manager says one suspect points a gun at his clerk. You can see her sitting on the couch. Then, as a dog jumps all over the suspect, the clerk takes out a gun and fires. The suspect is seen running away before the second suspect shoots at the clerk several times.
It happened right here. He coming straight up with the gun. The girl, she was here. The bullet is right here. It was almost coming in her head.
The manager showing us one of the bullet holes left behind, and even this.
This is a bullet too. This is gonna kill somebody for no reason.
Police say the 32-year-old clerk was struck 4 times. She's now getting treated at Jefferson Torresdale Hospital.
She's fine right now, she's better.
The store manager also believes the would-be robbery would have turned deadly.
Come here.
If not for his dog named Bullet. You can see Bullet jump all over the suspect, getting in his way just as the clerk fires.
If he don't move the guy and grab on him, he will shoot the girl before he shoot him. He did help.
He saved her life.
He saved my life and her life.
Wow, that was Matt Petrillo reporting. No arrests have been made yet, but police did recover a weapon left behind by one of the suspects. And that is Currents News. I'm Christine Persichetti. We'd like to leave you with one final salute to Officer Wilbert Mora, some of the heartbreaking images from his funeral. On behalf of the Currents News team, we extend our prayers to the Mora family and to the NYPD. See you again next time.